There's nothing that man can do to manipulate the sun and the moon. Nothing that man can do can alter the sun and the moon. Thus why I am considering right now the sun, the moon, and the witness of time. These translations are literal renderings from the Hebrew Masoretic text, the Greek writings of the Apocrypha, and the Greek New Testament. Genesis 1:14-19, and Elohim said, "Let luminaries come to be in the expanse of the heavens, to separate between the day and between the night, and let them be for signs, and for appointed times, and for days and years, and let them be for luminaries in the expanse of the heavens, to give light upon the earth." And it was so. And Elohim made the two great luminaries, the greater luminary for the rule of the day, and the lesser luminary for the rule of the night, and the stars. And Elohim placed them in the expanse of the heavens to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to separate between the light and between the darkness. And Elohim saw that it was good. And there was evening, and there was morning, a fourth day. Consideration. A first account establishes their origin, position, authority, and purpose. They came into existence by the word of Elohim. They were placed in the expanse by Elohim. Their rule was assigned by Elohim. Their work was established before mankind entered creation. The greater luminary received the rule of the day. The lesser luminary received the rule of the night. They were appointed for signs, appointed times, days, years, light upon the earth, separation between light and darkness, rule over day and night. Human governments came later. Human religions came later. Human calendars came later. The sun and the moon were already present, already assigned, already functioning, and already declared good. Their authority is real, yet delegated. Their rule exists within the command of the one who made them. They govern portions of creation while remaining servants within creation. The seventh day within the created order. The seventh day. Now these things are true. There's nothing that has been said thus far that is not true. When we look up, you see the sun, and I see the moon. I know that I did not create it. I know that man did not create it. So then I consider what did. Genesis 2, verses 1-3. And the heavens and the earth were completed, and all their host. And Elohim completed on the seventh day his work which he had made. And he ceased on the seventh day from all his work which he had made. And Elohim blessed the seventh day, and he set it apart, because in it he ceased from all his work which Elohim created to make. Consideration. The sun, the moon, and the stars were established before the seventh day was blessed and set apart. The luminaries marked the days. The seventh day was then distinguished from the other days. The Sabbath belongs to the created order. The Sabbath belongs to the created order. It's not separated from it. The Sabbath belongs to the created order. Its origin rests in the action of the Creator. The seventh day existed before Israel became a nation, before Sinai, before Jerusalem, and before any religious institution. The luminaries measure time. The Creator determines the meaning of time. A day may be measured by creation, while its holiness comes from the one who sanctifies it. This study that I created was made to show that the Sabbath day is not separate from the sun and the moon. If the sun and the moon is real, so is the Sabbath day, because it was established in creation, just like oxygen, just like food, just like these essential things that are meant to keep a person alive. The Sabbath day is in creation, and to deny it is to deny creation itself. Genesis 8, verse 22. Throughout all the days of the earth, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, and day and night shall not cease. Consideration. The continuation of day and night was spoken after the flood. The earth would continue through ordered cycles. Is that not true today? Seed time would answer to harvest. Is that not true today? Cold would answer to heat. Summer would answer to winter. Day would answer to night. The sun and moon serve within the continuing order. The Creator established continuity after judgment. Every returning morning is evidence that the spoken word continues. Every returning night is evidence that the spoken order continues. Time carries the memory of the promise forward. The lights are created as servants. Is this not true? The lights are created as servants. Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 19. Unless you lift your eyes towards the heaven and see the sun and the moon and the stars and the host of the heavens, and you be drawn away and bow yourself to them and serve them, which Yahweh your Elohim apportioned to all the peoples under the heavens. Consideration. The sun and the moon are visible to all people. Is this not true? The presence crosses borders. Their presence crosses borders. Their light reaches nations possessing different languages, traditions, rulers, and religions. Is this not true? Does their light touch everybody? Their greatness creates a danger. Creation may be mistaken for the Creator. Torah preserves the proper order. What is the proper order? The sun serves, the moon serves, the stars serve. They possess assigned functions. They receive no worship in the instructions of life. The greatness of the instrument points towards the greatness of the one who formed the instruments. Their beauty remains the beauty of created works. Their authority remains delegated authority. Is this not true? Did something delegate these luminaries to do things? Did something give these luminaries instructions to do things? And do they obey instruction? Yes, they do. Deuteronomy 17, verses 2 through 5. If there is found among you within one of your gates, which Yahweh, your Elohim, is giving you, a man or a woman who does evil in the eyes of Yahweh, your Elohim, by transgressing his covenant, and goes and serves other gods, and bows down to them, or to the sun, or to the moon, or to any of the host of the heavens, which I have not commanded, it is reported to you, and you hear, and you inquire thoroughly, and behold, the matter is true and established. This abomination has been done in Israel. Then you shall bring out that man or that woman who has done this evil thing in your gates. Consideration. Worship of the sun or moon is identified as a transgression of the covenant. This passage also established a judicial process. The matter is reported, it's heard, it's investigated thoroughly, it's established as true, then judgment follows. The sun and moon are real objects in the heavens. Their reality never gives them the status of Elohim, of God. The created witness remains beneath the authority of their creator. The sun and the moon are basically and only doing what the creator commanded them to do. They are faithful servants. That's why they are witnesses against mankind, because mankind is not faithful. Job chapter 31, verses 26 through 28. If I saw the light when it shone, or the moon walking in splendor, and my heart was secretly enticed, and my hand kissed my mouth, this also would be an iniquity for judgment, for I have acted falsely toward El above. Let's consider what Job has just said here. Job describes the attraction created by the brightness of the sun and the splendor of the moon. He describes a real attraction here. The danger begins within the heart. The outward act follows as inward enticement. Job was enticed by the sun and the moon. He's describing in certain enticement. Job identifies celestial worship as falsehood towards El. The sun and moon display splendor. Is this true? They are beautiful. Their splendor belongs within the work of the one above them. Creation can awaken awe. It can awaken reverence. Look how beautiful the world is. Let's go on vacation. Look how beautiful. Look how beautiful. Right? Righteous judgment directs that reverence, that awe, towards the Maker. Wow, look how beautiful everything is. Who created this? Heaven and earth are called as witnesses here. Heaven and earth are called as witnesses. Why? Because unlike man, they are faithful. They do exactly what they're told. Sorry, this is my AI assistant here listening to what I'm saying. The heavens and the earth are doing exactly what they're told. So just like in a real courtroom, the jury are supposed to be among the most honest people. Why? Because they do what they're told in society. So the Most High chose the sun and the moon to be witnesses, heavens and the earth to be witnesses. Why? Because they are only trying to do what they are told to do, but mankind corrupts them and forces them to do things they don't want to do. So Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 26. I call the heavens and the earth to witness against you today. You shall surely perish quickly from upon the land into which you are crossing the Jordan to possess. You shall not prolong your days upon it, for you shall surely be destroyed. Consideration. Moses formally calls the heavens and the earth as witnesses. The Hebrew verb ha-edolti carries the sense of causing testimony to be given or calling something as a witness. So this is a strong verb. Ha-edolti carries the sense as he's causing the heavens and the earth. He's telling them, you are witnesses. He's causing them to be witnesses. He's telling them, this is what you are. Calling something as a witness. The witnesses are larger than one generation. The generation hearing Moses would die. This is another reason why they're witnesses. Because they last throughout generations. The generation hearing Moses is going to die. The heavens and the earth are going to remain. Their continued presence would carry the testimony into later generations and prophecies. Moses names the heaven and earth directly. The sun, moon, and stars stand between the heavenly order already established in Genesis. The formal witnesses surround Israel from above and beneath. The covenant is spoken within creation before witnesses established by the Creator. Deuteronomy chapter 30, verses 15 through 20. See, I have placed before you today life and good, and death and evil, in that I command you today to love Yahweh, your Elohim, to walk in his ways and to keep his commandments and his statutes and his judgments, so that you may live and multiply. And Yahweh, your Elohim, may bless you in the land into which you are entering to possess. But if your heart turns away and you do not hear, and you are drawn away, and you bow down to other gods and serve them, I declare to you today that you shall surely perish. You shall not prolong your days upon the land into which you are crossing the Jordan to enter and possess. I call the heavens and the earth to witness against you today. Life and death have I placed before you, the blessing and the curse, and you shall choose life, so that you and your seed may live, by loving Yahweh your Elohim, by hearing his voice and by clinging to him, for he is your life and the length of your days. This also describes love. What is love? By loving Yahweh, your Elohim, by hearing his voice and by clinging to him, for he is your life. He is life itself and the length of your days. Now what are we to consider here? What are we to consider here? Heaven and earth witness a choice placed between Israel. Heaven and earth witness a choice placed before Israel. So these are witnesses. Heaven and earth are witnesses. Watching Israel. Picture the scene. Israel is listening to the Most High. He's listening to Moses. Now, as Israel is listening, picture heaven and earth listening. As Israel is present, heaven and earth are listening. What is Israel going to say here? What are they going to say? Are they going to agree or not? Once Israel agrees, heavens and earth, they embed the agreement of the covenant in testimony for the end times, for judgment day. Life stands with obedience. Death stands with rebellion here. Blessings stand with faithfulness. The curse stands with covenant violation here. So these are the curses. These are the generational curses that people talk about, that the church doesn't talk about. When they talk about generational curses, and this applies today. This is Deuteronomy 30. This is Moses was speaking to Israel, but this is also talking to a group of people today. Sorry. The sun rises over obedience and rebellion. The moon appears over blessing and curses, right? The creation sees the conduct of every generation. The creation, so they are watching. Time itself is watching. Time itself are witnesses. So when judgment day comes, nobody's going to be able to lie or give or bear a false witness, because time itself has witnessed man from the beginning of time. Sorry. Well, I'm sure if you're still here, then you are very interested in what I'm saying right here. All praises to the Most High. The witnesses possess no power to choose for man. They just stand still while man chooses and lives in life, making decisions. Their consistency exposes human inconsistency. The consistency of the day and night exposes man's disobedience. Let me take a drink on this beautiful Sabbath day. That's good. Deuteronomy chapter 31. So this still pertains to mankind today. This was future prophecy stated by Moses, claiming how people, Israel, is supposed to act today even. And you can look this up through scholarship, Google it, and then or chat GPT it and say, hey, Deuteronomy chapter 31, verse 24 through 29. Does this pertain to Israel just in those times, or does it pertain to life today? And then you will see this pertains to life today also. So Deuteronomy chapter 31, verses 24 through 29. And it came to be when Moses finished writing the words of this Torah in a book until they were complete, Moses commanded the Levites who carried the Ark of the Covenant of Yahweh, saying, take this book of the Torah and place it between the Ark of the Covenant of Yahweh your Elohim, and it shall be there as a witness against you. For I know your rebellion and your stiff neck. Behold, while I'm still alive with you today, you have been rebellious against Yahweh. How much more after my death? Assemble to me all the elders of your tribes and your officers, and I will speak these words in their hearing, and I will call the heavens and the earth as witnesses against them. Consideration. This passage identifies several witnesses together. The written Torah, right? Even the written Torah that's today, and the Torah is the whole Tanakh. It's the prophets, it's Moses, it's Genesis, it's the whole Old Testament, just not the first 5 books. The Torah is the whole Old Testament. And how do we know that? Because Yehoshua, he referred to the prophets as Torah. I'll let that sink in. What are we to consider here? The written Torah, the song given through Moses, the heavens and the earth. The written record remains. The creation remains. The words are still preserved beside the covenant. The heavens and the earth stand around the covenant. The heavens and the earth are still existent. The archive of Moses therefore contains written testimony and created testimony. One may close a book, the heavens may remain open. The heavens are still here. And the reason why I'm creating this teaching is for me, myself, and my children. This is therapy. Why? Because we can't deny that the sun and the moon are there. They are here. You look up and you will see them. We go about our day and we forget. We don't consider. This is why I keep on saying consideration, consideration, consideration. I have to consider in order to make it into the kingdom. That's true understanding. Deuteronomy chapter 32, verses 1 through 4. Give ear, O heavens, and I will speak. Listen to that. Give ear, O heavens, and I will speak. And let the earth hear the sayings of my mouth. Deuteronomy, just listen to this. The person that's speaking here, Moses, is asking the heavens to give ear to him. He's asking the earth to listen to what he's about to say. See, this is a man with true understanding. Deuteronomy chapter 32, 1 through 4. Give ear, O heavens, and I will speak. And let the earth hear the sayings of my mouth. My instruction shall drop as the rain. My speech shall distill as the dew, like fine rain upon tender grass. and like showers upon vegetation. For I proclaim the name of Yahweh, ascribe greatness to our Elohim, the rock. His work is complete, for all his ways are judgment, an L of faithfulness, and without injustice, righteous and upright is he. Amen. Consideration. The heavens are addressed as capable of hearing. The heavens are addressed as capable as hearing. The earth is addressed as capable of receiving testimony. This song that Moses is singing begins before witnesses that remain beyond Moses. The subject of the testimony is the character of Yahweh. His work is complete. His ways are judgment. He is faithful. He is righteous. He is upright. The faithfulness of creation reflects the faithfulness declared in this song. Rain falls, dew settles, the sun rises, the moon follows her course. Yes, the moon is considered a she in the Hebrew. The rock remains faithful to his word. Joshua, our forefather, he understood this also. This is a man with understanding. The sun and the moon remain under command. He knows that there is a creator that created the sun and the moon. So in Joshua chapter 10, verses 12 through 14, he addresses the creator because he knows that these are created. Joshua chapter 10, verses 12 through 14. This is a man with understanding. Then Joshua spoke to Yahweh on the day of Yahweh gave the Amorites. Let me put this thing aside. All right, I'm back. Joshua chapter 10, verses 12 through 14. Then Joshua spoke to Yahweh on the day of Yahweh. Then Joshua spoke to Yahweh on the day Yahweh gave the Amorites before the children of Israel. And he said before the eyes of Israel, sun, be silent at Gibeon, and moon in the valley of Ayalon. And the sun was silent, and the moon stood, until the nation took vengeance upon its enemies. Is this not written in the book of the upright? And the sun stood in the middle of the heavens, and did not hasten to go down for about a complete day. And there was no day like that before it or after it, when Yahweh listened to the voice of man, for Yahweh fought for Israel. Let me take a sip. The consideration. The ordinary course of the sun and the moon is established. That's true. Joshua chapter 10 records an extraordinary interruption of that ordinary course. The event demonstrates authority. The sun possesses a course, yet it remains subject to command. As if you believe this. If you truly believe that Joshua caused the sun and the moon to stand still, that Yahweh caused this to happen because he was fighting for Israel too, then you have to believe that the sun and the moon can hear and listen and are listening and obey to commands. Their regular movement comes before order. Their stillness is the account that comes under authority. The passage gives the victory to Yahweh. It gives the victory to the Creator. The sun and the moon remain instruments within his judgment. They obey. That's why they're witnesses. They're faithful. The heavens speak without human language. The psalmist knew this. The psalmist knew this. See, we're going to break this down because you can see the sun and the moon. So then nobody is without excuse. Psalm chapter 19, verses 1 through 6. The heavens are recounting the glory of El. The expanse is declaring the work of his hands. Day to day pours forth speech, and night to night reveals knowledge. There is no speech, and there are no words. Their voice is unheard. Their measuring line has gone out through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. In them he placed a tent for the sun, and in its like and it is like a bridegroom coming out from his chamber. It rejoices like a mighty man to run its course. From the end of the heavens is it going forth, and its circuit reaches their ends, and nothing is hidden from its heat. Look how eloquently David is describing the sun like it's an actual person, like it's an actual living entity. The heavens possess testimony right here. The expanse declares workmanship. Day communicates to day. The night reveals knowledge to night. Right? The sun performs its course in the center of all declaration. It emerges, it runs, it completes the circuit. So whatever is commanded, that it's commanded to do, this is what it does. This is what the sun does. Every child is born into a world where the heavens are already speaking. Every human acknowledges and can't add nothing to the sun. No human can add to the sun or to the moon. It's there. They are there. Let me stop saying it. See, I'm so indoctrinated still with old form of Christianity that the sun and the moon aren't seen as it. Now we're going to go to another verse from the psalmist about the ownership of the day and night, and the sun and its boundaries, and its boundaries. Psalm chapter 74, verses 16 through 17. 74, 16 through 17. Yours is the day, yours also is the night. You established the luminary and the sun. You set all the boundaries of the earth. Summer and winter, you formed them. What I am saying here is true. Summer, there is a summer, and there is winter. Something had to form that. That's the consideration. that the day belongs to the Most High, the night belongs to the Most High. That means that the luminaries belong to the Most High. The boundaries. So then if they belong to the Most High, then if they belong to the Most High, then their boundaries. The seasons belongs to his formation. The morning and the night, does this not all occur? If they all occur, and this is fact, and this is evidence, then we have to ask, what created these boundaries? What created these? What created these events of the sun, moon, the day, and the night? The psalmist continues. Psalm 89, verses 35 through 37. I will not profane my covenant, and I will not alter what has gone out from my lips. Once I have sworn by my holiness, I will not lie to David. His seed shall be forever, and his throne like the sun before me. Like the moon, it shall be established forever, and a faithful witness in the sky. Masalah. What's the consideration? This passage contains the clearest, direct declaration of the moon. The moon is called a faithful witness in the sky. I'll say that again. The moon right here is called a faithful witness in the sky. The Hebrew word ed means witness. Ed. E-D. Ed means witness. The Hebrew word na'amin, na'aman, means faithful, reliable, established, trustworthy. This is the description of the moon. Faithful, reliable, established, trustworthy. Unlike man, the sun represents enduring continuation before Yahweh. The moon represents establishment and a faithful witness. The covenant with David is compared to realities visible in the heavens. This is the covenant between David and the Most High. So the comparison joins spoken covenant with the created order. The moon changes in appearance through its cycle. Its appointed course still remains, though. Its course still remains. It's visible. You can see it. It reaches fullness. And it returns. When you wake up in the morning and when you look at night, you're always going to expect to see what? The sun and the moon. As long as you see the sun and the moon, there is a covenant that still exists between the Most High and David. And that seed that the Most High spoke about is the Messiah, Yehoshua HaMashiach. The moon and the appointed times. So I observed the Sabbath day going by the moon and the sun. Why? Because I value the moon and the sun. I'm not saying those that observe the Sabbath on the Friday and Saturday don't value the Sabbath. I don't say that. Because the Most High said, as long as you're convinced in your conscience that that's the Sabbath day, that's what matters right now. Because nobody truly knows when the Sabbath day is. But hallelujah, one day the faithful that are trying to obey right now are going to know one day. And that's true riches, is to know how to obey the law perfectly. That's true wealth, not gold, not silver, not honey. To be able to obey is love, and true love is what the true Israelite values most above everything. This is Psalm 104, verse 19 through 23. He made the moon for appointed times. The sun knows its setting. You set darkness, and it becomes night. In it, all the animals of the forest move. The young lions roar for prey, seeking their food from El. The sun rises, they gather themselves, and they lie down in their dens. Man goes out to his work and to his labor until evening. Until evening. Consideration. The moon was made for Moedim, appointed times. And this is why I observe the Sabbath day via the moon, because the Sabbath is called an appointed time. The same word appears in Genesis chapter 1, verse 14. The sun knows its setting. The moon serves appointed times. The sun governs the rhythm of the day. Why? Because Father gave them governance. He gave them instruction how to govern, and they govern exactly what they're supposed to govern. They're faithful witnesses. Work, rest, movement, gathering, and appointed times all occur within the pattern of all occur within the establishments of the moon and the sun. Even the pagan appointed times of Christmas and Easter and all these pagan holidays, they're still established by the sun and the moon. So even from that, you can't escape judgment, because man has created pagan holidays, and since from the imagination of man, and this is what happened in the garden, the imagination of man was created in such a way to be able to do these things, like create things like Christmas and Easter. The moon is therefore declared as a faithful witness again here. So I'm going to reiterate: the moon, the Aretz, which is earth, the sun, they can all hear and they're listening. The Most High is sovereign, right? Why? Because he governs. He governed things that are going to testify, because you can't outrun the earth. You can't outrun the sun. You can't outrun the moon. And the wind too, which is called ruach. In the Hebrew, the actual wind outside also is governed by the Most High. So so a man can't escape this. These are all facts. These are all facts, man, that I'm stating. There is a sun, there is a moon, there is earth, and there is a wind outside. Nobody can escape this, but man tries to. See, the animals, they know. This is why that verse is so beautiful, because it talks about the sun and the moon, and it talks about animals, how they obey. They know what's going on. You know, they can't speak. If animals could speak, I think more people would obey the Most High and, the laws of the Most High, because they would talk common sense to us. Like, duh, I'm going to fly down south. Why? Because it's going to be winter soon. Like, aren't you going to observe the Feast of Tabernacles? That's coming up soon. Oh yeah, true, you're right. But man has made themselves God in their own eyes. Psalm 136, verses 7 through 9. To him who made the great lights, for his covenant faithfulness is forever. The sun for rule in the day, for his covenant faithfulness is forever. The moon and the stars for rule in the night, for his covenant faithfulness is forever. Now, all I'm saying is this not true? Does the sun rule the day, and does the moon and the stars rule in the night? If this is true, then one has to consider how, who, why, what. This is what I do. The consideration. The making of the lights is joined to the making of the lights is joined to endure covenant faithfulness. So as long as there is the sun and the moon, there's a covenant going on. So what I said, I got to find out what this covenant is. I got to find out what this covenant is, because there's a sun and the moon. And when I read these scriptures, they keep talking about a covenant. And when I read great men like David, King David, they speak about the sun and the moon being witnesses of this covenant. And so Moses talks about this covenant and how the sun and the moon and the earth are witnesses. So I say to myself, I got to know what this covenant is. Who are the people that this covenant involve? And if it is Israel, who is true Israel? Who is Israel? Is all Israel Israel? If not, then how? This is why I named this channel the Israelite Therapist, because the therapist tries to make things in order. They try to bring a corrupted thing back to its original state. By what? Considering. This is Ecclesiastes. So this is Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 4 through 5. A generation goes and a generation comes, while the earth stands forever, and the sun rises and the sun goes down, and towards its place it pants. There it rises again. Now this is what we're going to consider. This is what I'm going to consider. Consideration. Generations pass. Is that true? Yes. The sun still continues. Is that true? Yes. One generation observes its rising. Is that true? Yes. That generation dies. Is that true? Yes. Another generation observes the same exact course. Human life moves toward death. The sun returns to its appointed circuit. Its repetition becomes a measure of human brevity. The sun witnesses births, labor, aging, kingdoms, sufferings, joy, and death. The generation changes. The sun and the moon continue to do what they do. The host is counted and called here. Isaiah understood this. He understood this. Man of understanding. Isaiah 40, verses 25 through 26. To whom then will you compare me? I believe this is the Most High speaking. To whom then will you compare me, that I should be equal, says the Holy One. Yes, this is the Most High speaking. To whom then will you compare me, that I should be equal, says the Holy One, raise your eyes on high and see. Who created these? Who brings out their host by number? He calls all of them by name because of the abundance of his might and the strength of his power. Not one missing. The host of the heaven is saying, who created this? Look up. Consideration. Who created what you're looking at? What created what you're looking at? Their number exceeds human counting while remaining known to the Creator. The heavens display power. The passage here, it directs a comparison towards the one that created the moon and the sun. Every heavenly body remains accounted for. Every single one. The fixed order is the continuance of Israel. As long as there's a fixed order, that means Israel is real. Israel is real. And one has to ask themselves, is this the right Israel? Has man corrupted what Israel is? Jeremiah chapter 31, verses 35 through 37. Thus says Yahweh, who gives the sun for the light by day, the statutes of the moon and the stars for light by night, who stirs up the sea so that it waves roar. Yahweh of hosts is his name. Yahweh Sabaoth. If these statutes depart from before me, declares Yahweh, then the seed of Israel also shall cease from being a nation before me all the days. Thus says Yahweh, if the heavens above can be measured, and the foundations of the earth below can be searched out, then I also will reject all the seed of Israel, because all of that they have done, declares Yahweh. So consideration. We're going to state facts here. The sun is given for the light of day. The moon and stars possess. The Hebrew word here is hukot. So the sun and the moon possess statutes, ordinances, and laws prescribed to them. So they are obeying. Their obedience speaks against our disobedience. So those to say that the law is done away with have to say that if the law is done away with, then the sun and the moon have to stop existing because they obey law. Do the sun and the moon still exist? Yes. Are they obeying laws? Yes. Then the law is still here because they are obeying the actual Torah. They are obeying, because Torah in Hebrew just means instructions. They are obeying instruction. As long as instruction still exists, then the law exists. To know this is to know who the Most High is. He is instruction itself. So to say that the law doesn't exist, one has to say that instruction doesn't exist anymore. And to say that instruction doesn't exist anymore is a great delusion. The visible continuation of the heavens accompanies the declared continuation of Israel. So the Most High here is saying that he knows who true Israel is. As long as there's a sun and the moon, he knows and sees Israel. So we have to say, are we looking at the same Israel that he is? The sun remains, the moon still remains, the fixed order is still there. So when Jeremiah is speaking here, in this passage, the text places Israel's national continuance beside an order that is visible to all generations. So as long as there's a heavens and the earth, Israel still exists. So they're not replaced by a spiritual Israel. Even though there is a spiritual Israel, as long as there's a heavens and the earth, the Most High's version of Israel still exists. Still exists. We'll go to Jeremiah chapter 33, verses 19 through 26. This is covenant. This is the covenant with day and night. And the word of Yahweh came to Jeremiah, saying, Thus says Yahweh, if you can break my covenant with the day and my covenant with the night, so that the day and night do not come at their appointed time, then my covenant may also be broken with David, my servant, so that he shall have no son reigning upon his throne, and with the Levitical priests, my ministers, and the host of the heavens cannot be counted, and the sand of the sea cannot be measured. So I will multiply the seed of David, my servant, and the Levites who ministered to me. And the word of Yahweh came to Jeremiah, saying, Have you not observed what this people has spoken, saying, The two families whom Yahweh chose, he has rejected? Thus they despise my people, so that they are no longer a nation before them. Thus says Yahweh, my covenant with day and night does not stand, if I have not established the statutes of heaven and earth. Then I will also reject the seed of Jacob, and David my servant, from taking from his seed rulers of the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. For I will return their captivity, and I will have compassion upon them. Now this is a lot to consider right here. What the Most High is saying, as long as there's a heavens and an earth, there is an Israel. There's true Israel that he views as Israel. And he is going to take them from where they are scattered from. As long as there's a sun and a moon, he is going to regather them from the diaspora, from the great scattering, Israel, as long as there's a sun and a moon. So then I tell myself, as long as there's a sun and a moon, and the Most High is going to gather Israel, I got to find out who Israel is. Am I Israel? Am I one of them? Am I a bloodborne Israel? Am I spiritual Israel? If I am spiritual Israel, then what do I have to do? If I'm true Israel, then what do I have to do? So the covenant with day and night is placed beside the covenant with David. So that's Yehoshua HaMashiach. That's the Messiah. The Levitical ministry, the seed of Jacob, the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the restoration of captivity. So believe it or not, Israel is still in captivity today. They're still in captivity today. Why? Because nobody has seen the Most High gather them yet. Because once he does it, you're going to know. It's not going to be, oh, maybe he had his hand in it. Maybe he caused politics to be the instrument that gathers Israel. Maybe he caused politics. No, it's going to be no politics. It's going to be all obedience and all, because nobody's going to be able to stop it. There's not going to be able to be votes to stop this from happening. This gathering. The heavenly order becomes a public sign against the claim that Yahweh has rejected his people. So the ones that say that spiritual Israel has replaced Israel, that as long as there's a sun and a moon, that is rejected. We're going to go to Ezekiel chapter 8, verse 16. This is the corruption of sun worship that people do today. People still worship the sun today indirectly. That's why if you see a lot of paintings of Jesus, you see this sun around his head. You see this light around his head. This is Ezekiel chapter 8, verse 16. And he brought me into the inner courts of the house of Yahweh. And behold, at the entrance of the temple of Yahweh, between the porch and the altar, were about 55 men, and their backs toward the temple of Yahweh, and their faces toward the east, and they were bound towards the east to the sun. Consideration: the men stood at the house dedicated to the Most High. Their backs faced the temple. Their faces faced the sun. Their bodily direction revealed their spiritual direction. They turned from the Creator's house toward a created light. The sun continued fulfilling its assigned service, watching them. The sun is watching them. Praise him. I think the sun's a him. And I think the moon is a she. Well, I know the moon's a she. So the sun is watching Israel praise the sun. So the sun is recording all this. They're praising me and not praising the one that created me, the sun is saying to himself. Now we're going to go to the Apocrypha. The wisdom of Solomon is another witness. Because remember, the testimony is a witness also. That's why when there's another corruption in Christianity, they say, oh, give your testimony. No, the testimony that's supposed to be talking about is what we're talking about right now. Is what's in these scriptures. What's fact? What's evidence? What can we consider? That's the testimony. Prophecy. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 13, 1 through 5. For all human beings were foolish by nature, in whom they were ignorance of God. In whom there was ignorance of God. From the good things being seen, they were unable to know the one who is. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 13, 1 through 5. And while paying attention to the works, they did not recognize the craftsman. Instead, they considered fire, wind, or swift air, or the circle of the stars, or violent water, or the luminaries of the heavens, to be gods ruling the world. If, being delighted by their beauty, they consider them gods, they should know how much better is their master. For the first author of beauty created them. And if they were astonished at their power and activity, they should understand from these how much more powerful is the one who formed them. For from the greatness and beauty of the created things, their maker is seen by comparison. Consideration. The text begins with visible good things. The visible works provide evidence of the craftsman. The craftsman here is the Most High. So the luminaries, they possess beauty, power, right? They possess power. We see that they possess power. Observation of creation should move thought towards their maker, the craftsman. This is what this is saying. If you can see that, one should consider the craftsman that created them. What did this? And how are the sun and the moon always there? What type of instructions are they obeying? This is what I consider. This is Sirach 43, 1 through 10. The pride of the height is the clear firmament. Notice how it says the firmament is clear. Right? The firmament. This is also proof that there is no outer space. There's an inner space. There's an inner space, but there's no outer space. It's all in the firmament. The sun, the moon, the stars are all trapped in there. The Most High is great. This is Sirach, chapter 43, 1 through 10. The pride of the height is the clear firmament, the appearance of heaven in a vision of glory. The sun appearing in its rising makes proclamation, a marvelous instrument, the work of the Most High. At noon it scorches the land, and who can endure its heat? One tending a furnace works and burning heat, yet the sun burns the mountain, breathing out fiery vapors, sending forth shining beams. It blinds the eyes. Great is the Lord who made it, and by his command it hastens in its course. He also made the moon to serve in its season, for a declaration of times, and an everlasting sign. From the moon comes the sign of the feast, a light diminishing after its fullness. The moon takes its name from it, increasing wonderfully in its changing, an instrument of the Most High, shining in the expanse of heaven. The beauty of heaven is the glory of the stars, an ornament giving light in the heights of the Lord. At the command of the Holy One, they stand in their order, and they never grow faint in their watches. They never grow faint in their watches. They never grow faint in their watches. What's the consideration here? So Sirach considers the Genesis pattern here. The sun is called an instrument. The sun proclaims by appearing. The sun rises by command. The moon serves in its season. The moon declares Moedim, time, Sabbaths. The moon is called an enduring sign. The moon marks feast days, Sabbaths. The stars stand in their order. The moon marks the Sabbath. Their watch continues. The passage joins beauty and function and command and time and appointed worship. The moon phases have meaning within the measuring of months and feasts. Its changes are visible. Is anything I'm saying not true? Does the moon and the sun mark holidays or holy days or appointed times and such? Yes, they do. We wake up every single day. This is Baruch chapter 3, verses 33 through 35. He sends forth the light, and it goes. He called it, and it obeyed him with trembling. The stars shone in their watches and rejoiced. He called them, and they said, "Here we are." They shone with joy from the one who made them. This is our Elohim. No other shall be compared to him. What are we considering here? What am I considering here? Light goes when it's sent. Light goes when sent. The created host answers when called. The sun and the moon, they answer when called. The stars stand in watches. Their shining is presented as obedience. The conclusion identifies the Creator as incomparable. Creation responds. The Creator commands. The order remains clear. Here, it's clear. Every single day, you wake up and you know that it's clear. Once this is unclear, you know the end times are here. Song of Song of the Three. Song of the Three. Verses 35 through 41. Bless Yahweh, all the works of Yahweh. Praise and exalt him through all the ages. Bless Yahweh, heavens. Bless Yahweh, waters above the heavens. Bless Yahweh, all powers. Bless Yahweh, sun and moon. Bless Yahweh, stars of heaven. Bless Yahweh, rain and dew. Bless Yahweh, all the winds. Consideration. The sun and the moon are counted among the works of Yahweh. They appear within the assembly of creation. Their existence contributes praise to the one who made them. They remain worshipers in poetic speech rather than objects of worship. Hallelujah. Now this is Yehoshua HaMashiach continuing. He's continuing the witnesses of heaven and earth. So to say that he abolished or fulfilled the law and that's not here is to say that the heavens and the earth don't obey instructions anymore. They have to obey instructions. Why? Because they are rising and they are setting. They are obeying what they are commanded to do. So Yehoshua was saying, if you can see the sun and the moon still obey, then the law is still here. Why? Because Torah just means instructions. If they are obeying instructions, I'm obeying instructions, everybody obeys instructions. That's what Yehoshua was saying. The sun and the moon are obeying instructions. So Yehoshua was saying, I'm obeying instructions. Everybody needs to obey instructions. Until these things are gone, not one jot or one tittle is gone. Matthew 5, verses 17 through 18. Do not suppose that I have come to abolish the Torah or the prophets. I came to fulfill rather than abolish. For truly I say to you, until the heaven and the earth pass away, one yod or one small stroke shall certainly not pass from the Torah until all things come to be. Consideration. Wow, this is a great consideration right here. Yehoshua places heaven and earth besides the endurance of Torah. Moses had called heaven and earth as covenant witnesses already. Moses already did this. He called the heavens and the earth as witnesses. So Yehoshua points to the same heaven and the same earth that was speaking to Moses. Now Yehoshua was pointing to the same heavens and the same earth about the smallest writings of the Torah. A small stroke, a little stroke of the Torah is still here. A yod is the smallest Hebrew letter. He chose the yod on purpose because it's the smallest Hebrew letter. In Hebrew, a korea is a small stroke or projection that distinguishes written characters. So he's even talking about even how you write Torah, a stroke of it, which distinguishes character from character. The strokes won't go away. That's how in depth he's saying. Not one yod or even a stroke. The way that the characters are written is going to be done away with. That statement reaches the largest visible witnesses, heavens and earth, to the smallest visible marks within the written text. Wow. The largest witnesses is compared to the smallest visible stroke in the text. Heavens remains, earth remains, the written witnesses remain. Yehoshua's statement preserves the authority of what was written and still is written. The sun and the moon continue within the heaven Moses called is the same heaven and earth that Yehoshua is referring to. They're still here. Wow. Luke chapter 16, verse 17. It is easier for heaven and earth to pass away than for one small stroke of the Torah to fail. The comparison is direct again. The passing of the heavens and earth is presented as easier to fail than one small stroke of the Torah. One small stroke of the whole Old Testament. So it's easier for the sun and the moon and the earth to fail than the Most High's law to fail. If they are still visible and still functioning within the instruction, then that means that the instruction that man is supposed to live by still is alive. Now when the sun and the moon start to change, right? That means that instruction itself is there's going to be some type of change. Right? Because this is what Yehoshua said. As long as these are functioning the way they're functioning right now, that means the Torah is still functioning. But once they start to change, then there's going to be a change in reality itself. Joel chapter 2, verses 10 through 11. Before them the earth trembles, the heavens shake, the sun and the moon grow dark, the stars withdraw their brightness, and Yahweh gives his voice before his army. For his camp is exceedingly great. For mighty is the one who performs his word. For great is the day of Yahweh, and exceedingly fearful. Who can adore it? Who can endure this day? Notice how it says, for mighty is the one who performs his word. For his camp is exceedingly great. His camp. See, he has a camp. So he has his camp. He has his elect. His camp is exceedingly great. For mighty is the one who performs his word. Consideration. The lights that mark ordinary time also mark ordinary, extraordinary judgment. Their darkening announces disruption. Their created order responds to the day of Yahweh. The sun and the moon possess no power to shield the earth from judgment. Their light changes according to the will of the one who appointed them. Joel chapter 2, verses 30 through 31. And I will give wonders in the heavens and on the earth, blood and fire and pillars of smoke. The sun shall be turned to darkness and the moon to blood before the coming of the great and fearful day of Yahweh. Consideration. The sun and moon become prophetic signs. Genesis appointed the luminaries for signs. Joel describes their role as signs before the day of Yahweh. The beginning and the future prophecy agree. The same lights that measure ordinary days will mark the approach of the great day. Who can endure it? Joel chapter 3, verses 14 through 16. Multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision. For near is the day of Yahweh in the valley of decision. The sun and the moon grow dark. The stars withdraw their brightness. And Yahweh roars from Zion. And from Jerusalem he gives his voice. And the heavens and the earth shake. Yet Yahweh is a refuge for his people and a stronghold for the children of Israel. Consideration. The heavens and the earth that witness covenant also shake at judgment. These witnesses are shaken at judgment. The darkened lights stand above the gathering of nations. The prophecy ends by naming Yahweh a refuge for his people and a stronghold for Israel. The cosmic signs and Israel's deliverance remain joined to the prophetic record. Because remember, Father said, as long as there's a sun and the moon, true Israel, who is Israel, in my eyes, still exists. So now when the sun and the moon start to alter, he becomes a cover. Like, yes, my children. And notice how it says here, his people and a stronghold for Israel. So Gentiles can be saved too. So notice he's saying, children, come to me right here. Because yes, I have to do this to the sun and the moon. Because my word stands true. But come to me so I can protect you from my judgment. Habakkuk, chapter 3, verses 10 through 11. The mountain saw you and writhed. A torrent of waters passed over. The deep gave its voice and lifted its hands on high. Sun and moon stood in their habitation, and the light of your arrows as they went, and the brightness of the lightning for your spear. Wow, the lightning is is a spear to the Most High. Consideration. The sun and moon stand within a vision of divine judgment here. Creation reacts to the presence and actions of Yahweh, the Most High. Mountains writhe, waters pass. The deep gives its voice, and the sun and moon stand. The created world is portrayed as responsive to its king. Yahweh, the Most High, El Elyon, Baruch Hashem Yahweh, Hallelujah. Isaiah 24, verses 21 through 23. And it shall come to be in that day, Yahweh will visit the host of the height in the height, and the kings of the earth upon the earth. And they shall be gathered as prisoners are gathered into a pit, and they shall be shut in confinement. And after many days they shall be visited. Then the moon shall be ashamed, and the sun shall be confounded. For Yahweh of hosts shall reign on Mount Zion and in Jerusalem, and before his elders, shall be glory. Consideration. The glory of the Most High reign surpasses the glory of the sun and the moon. The glory of the Most High's reign surpasses the glory of the sun and the moon. The heavenly host and the earthly kings both become under judgment. The created lights lose their apparent supremacy, you can say, before the revealed reign of the Creator who created them. Isaiah chapter 30. This is all going to happen in the future, God. So that I'm talking to myself and to my children. Isaiah 30, verse 26. And the light of the moon shall become like the light of the sun. And the light of the sun shall become sevenfold, like the light of 7 days. And in the day Yahweh binds the fracture of his people and heals the wound of their striking. This prophecy joins increased light with restoration. The one who appointed the lights can increase the light. So right now it's exactly where it needs to be. The one who permitted the wound can bind the fracture. So the Most High is the one that scattered us, scattered Israel. He is putting in relation the light and luminaries, the light and the functionality of the sun and the moon to the regathering of Israel. So since the light and the sun and the moon hasn't changed in function, then true Israel has not been regathered yet. This is the words of Yehoshua HaMashiach concerning the same future signs. Matthew 24:29-31. And immediately after the tribulation of those days, the sun shall be darkened, the moon shall not give its light, the stars shall fall from heaven, the powers of the heavens shall be shaken, and then the sign of the Son of Man shall appear in the heaven. And then all the tribes of the earth shall mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming upon the heavens, coming upon the clouds of heaven, with power and glory. And he shall send his messengers with a great trumpet, and they shall gather his chosen ones from the four winds, from one end of the heavens to the other. What's the consideration? Yehoshua repeats the same prophetic pattern. The sun is darkened, the moon ceases to give her light, the stars are affected, the heavens are shaken. The visible order that has marked human time from Genesis. So this is the same heavens and earth and moon that Moses was looking at, becomes part of the announcement of the coming judgment and gathering. The darkening of the lights marks a transition. The ordinary order gives way to the appearing of the delegated heavenly authority. Luke 21 verses 25-28. And there shall be signs in the sun and moon and stars, and upon the earth distress of nations. So the real distress of nations are associated with the sun and the moon and the stars. And upon the earth distress, and upon the earth distress of nations in perplexity at the roaring of the sea and waves, people fainting from fear and expectation of the things coming upon the inhabited earth. For the powers of the heavens shall be shaken, and then they shall see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. And when these things begin to come to be, stand upright and lift your heads, because your redemption draws near. Hallelujah. Consideration. The text explicitly calls these signs. The sun, the moon, the stars were appointed from Genesis, the same ones that Moses was looking at, the same ones that we see now. They remain signs in the words of Yehoshua. The signs are connected to the distress of nations, roaring of the sea, fear upon the earth, shaking of the heavens, coming authority, approaching redemption. The prophetic function agrees with the original appointment. Now we're going to go to the apostles saying the same thing. In Acts 2, verse 19-21. And I will give wonders in the heavens above, and signs upon the earth below, blood and fire and a vapor of smoke. The sun shall be turned into darkness, the moon into blood, before the great and glorious day of the Lord comes. And it will come to pass, and it shall come to be, everyone who calls upon the name of the Lord shall be delivered. Peter repeats Joel verbatim. The sun and the moon continue from Genesis in prophetic expectation of that day. 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 40 through 41. And there are heavenly bodies and earthly bodies, yet the glory of the heavenly is in one, and the glory of the earthly is another. There is one glory of the sun, another glory of the moon, another glory of the stars, for the star differs from the star in glory. Consideration: the sun possesses glory, the moon possesses glory, the stars, they possess glory. Their glory differs according to the created nature and assignment. So the difference is shown in the disorder. When there is some type of interruption, that's when things are going to start changing. This is also showing in 2 Peter. The heavens and the earth are moving towards a renewal. 2 Peter 3, verses 5 through 7 and 10 through 13. For this escapes from them willingly, that heavens existed long ago. See, Peter had understanding. That heavens existed long ago, and the earth was formed out of water through water by the word of God, through which the world then existing was flooded with water and perished. But the present heavens and earth, by the same word, are stored up for fire, being kept for the day of judgment and destruction of ungodly people. And the day of the Lord shall come like a thief, in which the heavens shall pass away with a rushing sound, and the elements burning shall be dissolved, and the earth and the works in it shall be exposed. Since all these things are to be dissolved, what kind of people ought you to be in holy conduct? What kind of people ought you to be in holy conduct and reverence, awaiting and hastening the coming of the day of God, because of which the heavens, being set on fire, shall be dissolved, and the elements burning shall melt. Yet according to his promise, we await new heavens and new earth, in which righteousness dwells. Once again, that was 2 Peter chapter 3. Consideration here is the present heavens and earth exist by the word of Elohim, the same word that established Moses. So creation is real, then judgment is real. If creation is real, then judgment is real. And if judgment is real, then a renewal is promised. And I look and see all the turmoil and death in the world, and which in itself is evidence that a renewal is needed and is going to happen. The witness of the present order has an appointed duration. Their eventual passing is going to pass. This is the final signs of Revelation right here. In Revelation chapter 6, 12 through 14. And I saw when he opened the sixth seal. So this is going to happen when he opens the sixth seal. A great earthquake came to be. And the sun became black like sackcloth made of hair. And the whole moon became like blood. And the stars of heaven fell to the earth, as a fig tree cast in its unripe when shaken by the great wind. So the stars are going to fall like figs cast when they're unripe, when shaken by the wind. And heaven was separated like a scroll being rolled up, and every mountain and island was moved from its place. So this is going back to what the prophets had said, Joel and everybody talking about the sun and the moon changing. This is the same thing in Revelation. So when people say that Revelation doesn't match to what the prophets say, that's not true. This is showing right here. The imagery gathers the witnesses together, the sun, the moon, the stars, the heaven, the mountains, and the islands. Who created the order responds to the opening of the judgment. The one that created the moons and the stars and the sun also created the islands and such. They're going to be altered. There's going to be a great earthquake that's going to alter the actual alignment of land today. The earth itself is going to look different. Revelation chapter 8, verse 12. The fourth messenger sounded, and the third of the sun was struck. The fourth messenger sounded, and a third of the sun was struck, a third of the moon, a third of the stars, so that a third of them might be darkened, and the day might lose a third of its light, and the night likewise. The prophets spoke about this too. And we're going to go back to the prophets to show that they did. Isaiah chapter 60, verse 19 through 20. The sun shall no longer be your light by day. For brightness, the moon shall no longer give light to you. And Yahweh shall become your everlasting light. And your Elohim for beauty. And your Elohim, your beauty. Your sun shall no longer go down, and your moon shall no longer withdraw. For Yahweh shall become your everlasting light, and the days of your mourning shall be completed. This is the consideration here. The prophecy reaches beyond ordinary dependence upon the created light. The sun and the moon serve their appointed roles. So this is when the sun and the moon, they served their time. They did everything that was instructed of them. They're no longer needed. The Most High is going to function as the sun and the moon did. The created lights lead to their testimonies lead to the Creator. Morning ends here, and light still remains. When I read this, I say to self, there's a life after this. And in that life after this, there's going to be no mourning. There's going to be a whole nother world that I don't know about. I don't know what's there. I don't know what are there other nations? Are there other commands? Are there other instructions? Or what's going on there? Are there other civilizations? But in this place that the Most High is talking about, where He is the light, there's no more sun and the moon. There's something there. There's existence there. I don't know if there's other beings there or something, or is there a part 2 to all this? Does it just keep going? Because the Most High, He's everlasting. He has to entertain Himself. Does this just keep going? And are we living something afterwards? We're going to experience that keep goingness, because in the Hebrew, the word is called olam. So people use that, and they use that and translate it into the word called universe. That's why I don't read there is a universe. I believe there's time, and the Hebrew word olam means that the time is so far that you can't see the end. So there is no end. I want to get to that where there is no end, so I can live in that no end state. I don't know if it's celestial wars or battles, whatever makes the Most High happy. I remember listening to this one guy. His name is Hassad. He said it's just when you watch a movie and you like the movie so much that you watch the movie again and you still get the same feelings. You still say, well, maybe the movie's going to be different this time. Maybe he won't do this. And you say, no, you still can't watch some scenes, even though you've seen the movies 13,000 times. You know, and this is the same relation. Like, the Most High can write a book from beginning to end, knows the beginning and the end, but still enjoy it. Revelation chapter 21, verses 22 through 25. And I saw no sanctuary in it, for Yahweh Elohim Almighty is its sanctuary. See, this is where I want to be. And the Lamb and the city has no need of the sun or the moon or of the moon, that they should shine upon it. For the glory of Elohim illuminated it, and its lamp is the Lamb. And the nations shall walk by its light, and the kings of the earth shall bring their glory into it. And the gates shall never be shut by day, for night shall not there be. So wherever this is, that's where I'm trying to get at right now. That's why I'm obeying instruction right now, because I see that the sun and the moon are obeying instruction. I see that animals are obeying instruction. I see that plants are obeying instructions, photosynthesis and such. That means instruction still exists for man. So I aligned myself up with his instruction. And to say that instruction does not exist is to be delirious. This is why man says nobody can be perfect. That's a delirious thing to say. That's almost like schizophrenic to say that instruction doesn't exist and you're living by instruction itself. That's a psychosis. Revelation 22 verse 5. And night shall be no more, and they have no need of the light of a lamp and the light of the sun, because Yahweh Elohim shall give light upon them, and they shall reign through the ages of all ages. So where are these ages of all ages? This is where I'm trying to be at. This is where I'm trying to go with all my mind, body, and soul. Consideration. The final statement completes with the movement. At the beginning, there were luminaries. At the end, Elohim. He's the ultimate luminary. He's the ultimate light. The sun and the moon served throughout the created age. We're just stating facts here. This is the ultimate consideration to go back to the very beginning of this archive. The sun and the moon served throughout the created age. They marked days, they marked years, they marked appointed times, which are holidays and just appointed times in general. They divided the light from the darkness. They ruled the day and the night. They declared glory. They revealed knowledge. They stood within the heavens, called as witnesses. The moon was explicitly named a faithful witness in the sky. Their fixed order was joined to the endurance of Israel. As long as there's a sun and a moon, true Israel still exists today. Their continued presence was joined to the endurance of instruction itself, Torah. Their darkening was appointed as a sign. As soon as they become dark, something's going to change. Their final displacement. So after things change because they become dark, they're displaced as necessary, because the true lamp is the true light, is the Most High himself. Wherever that is, I'm trying to get to. So this is the complete consideration to bring everything together. The sun and the moon existed before human religion. The sun and the moon existed before human religion. They existed before human government. They existed before human calendars. That's why I obey the Sabbath via the moon and the sun. They existed before Israel became a nation. Their place and function were established by the Creator, by the craftsman. Their presence is shared by all humanity. Nobody can have an excuse. Every nation sees the sun. Every nation lives beneath the same moon. Human beings may assign different names to the sun and the moon, but they're still there. Human beings may develop different calculations around the sun and the moon, but they're still there. Human beings may form traditions concerning them, but they're still there. Their actual courses remain outside of human authority. Nobody can control the sun and the moon. One has to ask themselves, why can't I control the sun and the moon? Because there is one that controls them. To take control means that somebody has control. The sun and the moon therefore stand as works that human beings can observe while having no authority to create, command, or sustain or replace them. The scriptures establish several related levels of testimony. First, that the lights are signs. Let them be for signs, appointed time, days, and years. Second, the heavens declare. The heavens are recounting the glory of the Most High. Third, the heaven and earth are formal covenant witnesses. I call the heavens and earth to witness against you today. These words were said multiple times. Fourth, the moon is directly named as a witness, a faithful witness in the sky in the book of Psalms. Fifth, the fixed order of the sun, moon, and stars is joined to the countenance of Israel. If these statutes depart from the Most High, then the seed of Israel also shall cease from being a nation. The statutes are still here. They didn't depart from the Most High. So that means true Israel exists today. Who are they? 6. The covenant with day and night is joined to the promised concerning Jacob, David, and the Levitical servants. 7th, Yehoshua HaMashiach points to heaven and earth when affirming the endurance of every letter and stroke that is written of the instructions of life, Torah. Yehoshua himself takes the two largest witnesses and says that they are witnesses of the littlest strokes of instruction. As long as they are witnessing the littlest stroke, not even the littlest stroke is done away with. 8th, the sun and the moon become future prophetic signs. The sun shall be darkened and the moon will turn to blood before the day of Yahweh. 9th, the final city receives everlasting light directly from Elohim. I am trying to get to that final city. I'm sure if you listen to all of this, you might be considering that you want to try to get to this city. I want to get to this city to see if there are more cities, because it talks about ages. If there's ages there, then what else is there? The witness begins in creation. The witness enters covenant. The witness continues through generations. The sun and the moon appears in wisdom. The sun and the moon continues through the prophets and the Apocrypha and Yehoshua HaMashiach and the apostles. The witnesses reach judgment and revelation and what the prophets say. The sun is real. The moon is real. Their appointed service, what they function as, is real. Go outside and you'll feel the sun. Go outside and you'll see the moon. Time is real. Time is real. They dictate time. The Creator must be real. The heavens must be real. The earth must be real. Then that means that the instructions of life must be real. Torah. Hallelujah. Amen.